it's difficult for me to guess her age. Very, very difficult, and you can't try it. You flounder. You won't get her age. Hallelujah. This kind of person, in the next 30 years, she will remain like this. You won't get her age. It's difficult. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So, men and brethren, let's appreciate the ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the country of Hellas. Let's put our hands together. Minister on something I feel that it is important for us to know. Of course, we know is one of the commonest or most popular topic that I always found African preachers dwell so much on it. Some can preach it 10 times in a year, some even preach it almost every month. Some preach it more than 40 times even in a year. It's very common, but I want to bring it from scriptural point of view to help you organize yourself very well and also help you know what to do and how to do it, because knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. You need to be properly informed. You need to be equipped. You need to be guided so that you'll be able to excel in life. The topic I'm talking about is the topic we normally call cause. It's a very popular topic among Christians, particularly within African community and even America. But it is scriptural and must be understood from the right point. You must understand this topic from the right point. We're used to it, that's why I'm just taking it like it's a topic that we're used to. Cause or causes. It's good to understand what does this mean and what is it all about. Does it really exist? Is it true that a man can be cursed? Does it even work? Any answer can fit in all of these things, but the but there is that we must see it from Bible point of view. We must see it from the scriptural angle to see how it goes and how it works. If you read Numbers chapter 22, you will see that Balak demanded that Israel should be cursed. And so he invited Balak invited Balaam to do that. Because Balak knew too well that if a man is cursed, that man is under a spell. Because when somebody is cursed, the person is prone to attack. When a man is cursed, the man is under chain. So Balak demanded that Balaam should curse Israel for them to be able to penetrate get them cheap, deal with them, frustrate them, and harm them, paralyze their strength, and weaken their authority. In the scripture, we see that, particularly in the Old Testament, 200 times this word curse is found. In the Old Testament, we understand that it was a period of violence. So many people were cursed in the Old Testament, and curses were being released because there was, of course, it was a message of truth and that. Once you do, you receive the punishment. And so we see that this word curse existed so much in the Old Testament scriptures because of the nature of the then worship. So what I'm trying to exercise, or what I'm trying to explain here, is that this particular subject or this particular topic has a lot to do with humanity. It has a lot to do with humanity. And when we're talking about curse, it's something that has to do with people. It is a spell that is being released over humanity. It is an arrow of delay that is being released over people. It could be a person, it could be a family, it could even come over as a community. There are communities you go to, you discover that 80% of the boys there are drunkards because they are under a spell. There are communities you go to, nobody begins any building and complete it. They always start, but something must happen that they will not complete that building. There are communities or villages you go to, you see that any girl married from that village must stay 10 years before she will have her first baby. The person doesn't know what is happening, but because of this spell in that particular village, are you understand what I'm saying? So when Balak demanded that Balaam should curse Israel, he was requesting that Israel should be stopped. He was requesting that they should be expelled. He was opening up a door that they cannot exercise their freedom any longer. Because when a man is cursed, that man cannot be able to exercise his freedom as he should. He knows what to do, he has knowledge of what to do, but because there is a spiritual stoppage, something stopping him from getting to his goals. You see, because we know this, that's why I don't want to talk about cause or causes, because we know it, but there are areas I want to explain some things. There are areas I want to really open our eyes to help us today forevermore. Not only helping you, to also help those that are listening to you. Help your family, help your future, help your destiny. That's why it's good for me to come from this area that I'm coming from, because it will help you so much. 3 ways that a man can be cursed. One is the one we call the Adamic curse. The Adamic curse that brought the Adamic failure. The sin of Adam brought curse upon humanity. That's why the Bible says, for all have sinned. All have sinned, but all were not there when Adam sinned. You were not there. Even your father was not there. Our great-grandfathers were not there when Adam sinned. But how come that now Bible now generalize it and say that all have sinned, even those of us that were not born that time? And now Bible says all have sinned because the curse and the sin of Adam became generational sin. Everybody partook of it, or we are partakers of it. Because when Adam fell, it became generational failure. And so the Bible says, all have sinned and have come short of the glory of God. Everybody have come short of the glory of God. So we are not meeting up with the standard of God. We are limited to the common favor of God. So that's the first cause. And then the second one is what we call the ancestral causes. The ancestral causes. And so these ancestral causes is, came as a result of sin, atrocities, and evil committed by our great-grandfathers. When we were not even there, before we are born, well, we do not know anything about it. It could be 200 years ago, 100 years ago, or even 400 years ago. So this is what is called the ancestral cause or ancestral causes. How do we know that a man or somebody is under a curse? Or how does curse work? It always have a sign. That sign is sign of reputation. It's a sign of reputation. One person will go through the same thing. After the next generation, they will also go through the same thing. Another generation will also go through the same thing. So that's how causes work. Somebody had business failure. Your great-grandfather had business failure at the age of 57. And your father also had business failure at the age of 57. And you discover that even now, when you were just young, 20, 30, things were moving well. And once you are getting to 57, you see the same thing happening to you. Because it is a generational something. Some people have marriage problem, marriage, breakage. And when you trace it, you discover it has happened, and get to you. So there are so many things to know that is a cause in a family. Signs to know that there is a cause in a family. Because it is ancestral. That's why it's called ancestral cause. You don't know about it, you did not do anything about it, but you inherited it. How? Through blood lineage. Through blood lineage. Through blood lineage. Once you have the blood of that person that have that cause, definitely it will also manifest in you. That is how it works. That's why he said it's ancestral. Then we have the third one. The third one is what we call self-inflicted curse. self-inflicted curse. Self-inflicted curse is a type of curse that people impose in themselves. It comes as a deliberate errors. When we expose ourselves to abominable things, things that Bible call abomination before the Lord, it opens door for somebody to be cursed. Today you see a lot of people engage themselves in so many things. They feel that it makes them big. You see today in Nigerian schools and so many places in the world, children that are sent to school, once they are sent to school, they enter court. They have all manner of masks. They have all manner of initiation. They engage themselves in something they feel that makes them big. Once you have a covenant with a demonic spirit, once you have an encounter with any evil spirit, it opens you up for a cause. If you look at where we are now, we are the middle stage. The middle stage is that because of the ignorance of our forefathers, they did not try to be wicked to their children. They were not planning to harm anybody. In fact, all their intentions were good. It was good intentions they had in mind, but because of ignorance and godlessness, they entered into occultism. They did all manner of sacrifices to evil spirits, and these demons that gave them yam, some of them was because of yam, because they needed enough yam to feed 26 children they had. Because some of them, they needed death to stop in the family. They covenanted with one spirit or the other. So it was not that they had bad intentions. Their good intentions was to favor the family, but wrongly approached. And so they handed the entire family over to evil spirits. And this is how curses entered into African homes. And not only Africa, I have entered into Greek homes. I was invited to come and conduct deliverance. In fact, the one I entered, I was crying. I was crying because virtually everybody there had been destroyed by demons. Everybody. The only person helping out there was somebody employed. Every one of them had been destroyed by demonic forces and demonic powers. So it's not only Africa, what I'm telling you. So whenever you expose yourself to demonic influences, to demonic powers, these are the things that opened up our great-grandfathers into ancestral causes. Are you still here, George? Good. I'm gradually taking this so that you understand what I'm saying. It's not enough organizing deliverance service, but knowledge. If you don't have knowledge of what you're doing, no matter how many times you go for deliverance service, no matter how many times church organize deliverance service, people are not being delivered at all because they don't have knowledge of what this deliverance is all about. It's all about prayer. And no, it's not just prayer. You must have understanding of what it means for a man to be cursed. So the ignorance of our fathers led them into all of this mess. Now, what am I bringing out here? Let's read Deuteronomy chapter 18. Deuteronomy 18. I read from number 10. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. Number 11. Or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. Number 12. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God had driven them out from before thee. The Bible says that as many that engage themselves in all of these things, as many that sacrifice themselves to divination, to witchcraft, to necromancer, and all manner of demonic exposures. You know, there are so many things we do not know the outcome and the repercussion and the after effect. We don't know. I'm showing you the things that people call, or what the things we call cause or causes, so that you will understand what does this thing mean and how does it come. You think that people are caused because of maybe their great grandfather was a wicked man. No, these men were good people. But they ignorantly, sold their homes, their children, their destiny, and their future. Do you know that today there are families that before you succeed in that family, you will do like this. Before you succeed, you will fight and struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle. You see that hard time becomes the order of the day. Everybody in the family is begging for food. Everybody is begging for food. Because something is wrong. So now, Bible says that this is how they have been cut off. He said God cut off some people. We are labeled outcasts. Why? Because they have engaged themselves. They have engaged themselves in abominable things that are abominable to the Lord. And so what happened? Does God curse any man? No, God does not curse anybody. Follow me. I'm just showing you something. You have heard teaching about curse, but I don't think you have heard anybody taking time to explain it what I'm explaining now. Because I'm also an African preacher. I know the way they preach it. It takes me time to understand what I'm teaching you now. God does not curse anybody. Because he is good. The Bible says there's nothing evil that comes from the Lord. But what happens is that when a man engages himself in abominable things, you know what happened to abominable things? What happened? what happened is that the hedge of protection over his head will be removed. Job chapter 1. Bible says, has not thou made an hedge about him? This is Satan questioning God. He said, because you have made a hedge over Job and about his house and about all that he had on every side, thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. I can't handle Job because you have built a hedge of protection. You have built something over the head of Job. So when I stretch out my hand to harm him, I can't do it. And so now the devil was requesting from God to remove his hand from Job so that I can have access. Today I prophesy over your life. No demon will have access in your life. I said Satan will never have access in your life. If I'm telling them, you shout another amen. See, that's why I could not have access, because of what you have built around him, protection over his family. So it is not God that causes anybody, but God can remove his hand from somebody. And what makes God to remove his hand from people is when they are engaged in abominable things, like the scripture have shown us. Necromancers, people who go to burial grounds to seek help from dead people. People who engage in witchcraft. People who consult native doctors to call people on mirror. These are demonic things, and Bible says they are abominable things before God. Some years ago in Africa, there are people they call them outcasts. Thank God for Christianity. Thank God for the word of God. Thank God for liberation power. Thank God for awareness. Thank God for the knowledge of the word of God. And they say these people were people that have been sacrificed to demons. And they don't know anything about it too. It's just that they were born in a family and they said they are outcasts. How? How did it happen? How did it happen? They say your great-great-great-grandfather was sacrificed to one deity. So, Bible says that there were people that have been casted out from the commonwealth of God's blessing, because they have engaged themselves in demonic and abominable activities. Now, what happened? Here we see that Jesus break the yoke and to remove the stoppage that devil has placed over humanity. He has come to remove the stoppage. So the coming of Jesus, the death, resurrection, and the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Christ has opened us up to know where we are coming from, where we are, and where we are going to. Through the knowledge of the scripture, we can now understand who we are in Christ. We can now understand the right and the position we have in Christ. We can now know the things that the death of Jesus has provided for us. Jesus has blotted out the handwriting of curses, the handwriting of ordinances that were contrary against us. Jesus came and he removed them. Now, Jesus removed them 2,000 years ago. But some people encountered curse just only 500 years ago. Some 100 years ago. After Jesus has died and has blotted out and has removed all these ordinances, I came encounter to ask questions. Because I have encountered Jesus, so I can ask him questions to explain some things to me. How come that you died 2,000 years ago, but some families encountered curse 500 years ago? How did that happen? And the Spirit of God explained something to me, that the finished work of Jesus is not automatic. That is not automatic. It is by choice. That Jesus died and saved the whole world and delivered the whole world from Adamic curse, from ancestral curse. That does not mean that nobody will go to hell. Bible says every soul that sinned shall die. It doesn't mean that everybody will go to heaven. Going to heaven is by choice. Going to hell is by choice. Being liberated from curse or curses is by choice. God does not force any man against his will. God, he doesn't curse anybody against his will. You can choose to do whatever you want to do. You can choose to live how you want to live. You can choose to behave how you want to behave. God says that my spirit will not strive with man any longer.
That's right.
You can decide after coming here, you hear all the messages and all the word of God, you just drop them and continue with. Do you know that I heard, I've not seen, they said there are some people in this country who invoke spirits here for business. They ask somebody, native doctor, to bring them something so they be making money. Do you know what that means? If you marry with the help of divination, you will suffer in that marriage. People who never married at all will be better than you.
Right.
Because God said, my spirit will not strive with man any longer. I will not battle with man any longer. So of Jesus is not automatic. It is by choice. And that's why God said, come unto me. It's like a call begging, come unto me. All you that are labored, as many that are under yoke, Jesus is saying, come to me, come to me, come to me. So I can give you rest, deliver you. I can give you peace. So, Jesus' death has liberated us from all manner of curses. Jesus' resurrection has lifted man from all manner of curses. But somebody was come for it. Somebody must accept it. Somebody must liberate himself. If you look at the scripture, everything is come. Everything is if you will obey. Everything is if you will accept. If you. So as you are hearing the sound of my voice, you know, this week we said we are praying. I said this year, my goodness, this year we are going to pray in this church the way we have never prayed before. Because whatever that is holding you bound, you must liberate yourself. Yes. And people will be asking you, you are this person. Are you? He said, no, I have left the place. I have left. Yes. And they look at it and say, you are the owner of this house. You built it at the age of 32. He said, yes. But everybody in this family built house at the age of 68. He said me because I have done what?
Hallelujah.
I have gone out. I left them. I left them. Are you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yes, and I prophesy over your life. I receive. Every power that have held your family in the time back, in the name of Jesus, I liberate you. I liberate your family in the name of Jesus. Let me show you something in 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 20. If after they have accepted the pollutions, watch this. I'm just trying to show you what the Holy Spirit explained to me. Why Jesus died 2,000 years ago, but people still suffer causes. Because it's not automatic. It's not automatic. The finished work of Christ. You must open up yourself. You must identify with that, altar of grace. You must yield to that power of liberation that Jesus has given to the church and the whole world. To the whole world. So for if after they have accepted the pollutions of the world, after they have escaped the pollutions of the world, through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, they are again entangled, dearly, and overcome. And he said, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning. Unto them according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the soul that was washed to have wallowing in the mire. This is the danger of a man that comes and sits like you're sitting and hearing the word of God. It's the danger of a man that goes to miracle crusade and all kinds of crusade, and somebody lay hand on you and you go back and continue. You have something that is from demonic altar, something from demonic wilderness, and you are still holding it. Bible says there's no amount of hand you lay on that person that will say, instead his condition will be worse than the former. You cannot mammon at the same time, serve devil at the same time. No. We are breaking the curse, the ignorance of our fathers through the knowledge of Jesus. And we are also setting light for our own children. We are setting light for our own children. Because it will not be good that after you mix up and talk within your eye, you see your children suffering. And every day they come to you and complain, Mama, I can't sleep, nothing is working for me, nothing is moving, because you have used all your life to sacrifice, to serve demons. It's like a dog going back to his vomit. After you have been delivered, after hands have been laid on you, after you have confessed and pray against demons, you go back. You see
still have relationship with demons. You still have encounter with evil spirit, with evil forces. But say you are like a dog going back to his vomit. You're going back to your vomit. And you see all the things that the scripture have said that will happen. He said the life of that person will be worse than his former life. And that will cause them abomination. And you go back to abominable things. Causes can be reintroduced. After somebody has been liberated, you can also reintroduce cause or causes in your life and in your generation. Are we still in the church? Yes, sir. Are we still here? Yes, sir. Yes, somebody can reintroduce causes in his family. You can reintroduce it in your life. After Jesus has separated you and has set you free and have liberated you, and you still on your own. Because the scripture can never lie and can never deceive anybody. Say when you have been delivered, you can go back to your vomit. You can go back. You can, the same way you walked out, you can also walk in there. You can walk in there into cause again. And when you walk in, you know what? It will start follow you and follow your children and the next generation. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16. 6 things doth the Lord hate, yes, 7 and above. Have you seen it again? Yes, It says these things are the things that God hates. That's even the 7th one. These things are abomination unto God. Since they are abomination unto God, it can liberate man from the peace of God. It can cast, man away from the favor of heaven. Wow, that look is not ordinary. She has stationed in her heart, I'm going to stop this boy from going back to Greece. I'm going to stop him, he will not go back. Something will happen, immigration will find something in his passport and they will send him back. He will not go. That's why I say somebody will come and get to airport, and the immigration officer, trained officer, qualified, look at your passport and say, no, I don't trust this passport. He said, it's not your face. He said, no, sir, God forbid, please call Nigerian embassy in Athens. He said, I'm not calling anybody. It's not your face. Before you know it, he will send it to the next officer, and you are in. 2 days, they send you back to Lagos. Because there was a proud look. Somebody looked at you, said, you, okay, we'll see. I said, there are things God hates. Oh my God. These are ways men introduce themselves. There are people that don't have money. The only money they have is the one they will give to native doctor to kill somebody. To kill. It gives them pleasure. It gives them satisfaction that people are crying and mourning. They enjoy it. They want somebody to come back home, and they said, Uncle, when are you going back to Lagos? He said, I'm not going back again. My business has collapsed. My landlord has packed my things. I'm not going back. I'm going to stay here with you people. Because somebody is enjoying in that failure. That's what the scripture says. Bible says these things are abomination. They open door for curse and curses. They set the next generation in danger. And hence that shed innocent blood. Listen, child of God. And hence that shed innocent blood. Oh. And hence that shed. You know, in the Western world, abortion is legalized. He said, if you don't leave the child, you can abort the child, no problem. You know what they are doing? You are opening yourself to demonic attack. He said, no problem. So he said, anyway, there are doctors, so you can just whatever. Once you check yourself, you miss your period, 1, 2 months, 3 months, you go to the doctor and say, remove it. You don't know what you're doing. And you terminate a child in the womb. Some men are they are professionals because they know the amount they give to girls to terminate the baby. So they can stay with 10 years. Even 10 of them come together and say, we are pregnant, we give this one, give this one, give this one, this one. They will terminate the whole 10 children. Yakaba Shakabo. Rebrama Saka. Hence, you should make up your mind. You better make up your mind. You better take a decision. I'm showing you the scripture. Bible says that you should not for any reason close the ancient landmark. This year 2020, I'm using this period to build you, help you, guide yourself, so that you have a single heart for the Lord, so that you take a decision. People call you from home to bring money, you not even ask any question. You won't ask them, what are you going to do with this money? They say, I'm using it to fight for land. You don't know whether the land belongs to you or doesn't belong to you. You don't know the owner of the land. You are just sending money and sending money and sending money. Bible says you should not close the ancient landmark. You should not. When you pass evil judgment, when you stand evil judgment because of bribery. No, the scripture said that bribery makes a man that is seen to be blind. You know that this thing is like this, but because of bribery, your eyes are closed. You are exposing yourself to danger. You are opening doors for causes to invade your generation. And you see struggling, you see your strength, you see your effort. Because you have exposed yourself. 17, go to 18. Let me finish it. Just let the Spirit of God open your eyes. Brethren, don't engage yourself in anything called spiritism. Don't engage yourself in any called demonic something. Any demonic object around your life is an open door for your destruction. He said your mama give you, your papa bring it, your uncle bring it. They have exposed you to untimely death. That thing your father, your mother brought home is a platform for your sudden death. And your ignorant mother do not know, because she is enjoying the money you are bringing from here, not knowing she has dug your grave untimely. Are we still in the church? Yes, I'm not preaching like an African preacher, because I take time to question to find out from the Holy Spirit. Because it's easy to gather people and say, Holy Ghost fire, Holy Ghost, and ask them to preach. They'll mess up themselves. Some will tell you that Jesus died for us, so well, there's nothing like us, but they will not tell you that you can open up the door. They will not tell you that the finished work of Jesus is not automatic. Somebody must go for it. Somebody must accept the mercy. Somebody must accept that grace. Somebody must close the door permanently. And with the provisions in the Bible, I would say they are like dog. They will go back to their vomit, and their life will be worse. Will be worse. You know, some of us, we think like it's foolishness. When you see all these people, servicing the church, paying the bills of the church, paying light bill, paying everything, paying mortgage, you think they are stupid people. I tell people that we don't have, our senses are correct. We are not Muslims who go to mosque, they will remove their shoes. So you think that when we come to church, we remove our bread. Instead, we don't have bread. We have bread. That we are using our money servicing the work of God doesn't mean we don't have bread. We have sense. We know what we are doing. And you that is using your own to buy, I was in Nigeria now, a few weeks ago, they said there is a bottle of wine in Nigeria that costs 80-something thousand naira. Oh, so you know better than me, sir. You know better than me. A bottle of wine. Oh, can you see in my head? Accept the finished work of Jesus. You must accept the finished work of Christ. You must accept the finished work of Christ. Finished work of Jesus. You must accept it. Bible says, Zerubbabel built his tabernacle. Oh, Mashakaraba. And the tabernacle, in the tabernacle of Zerubbabel, the scripture says that is the place Zerubbabel shout grace. Grace. That's a place where he shout grace. The grace of God that is beyond human understanding has come to this house. You must accept the finished work of Jesus. You must come to a point and say, Lord, I give away anything. I accept you as my Lord and my personal Savior. You must come to that point. Coming to church is not enough. Pouring oil on your head is not enough. You must come to a point where you say, Lord, I accept you. You must invoke the grace of God. You must come to a point where the grace of God is working for you. The grace of God is working for you. You must come to this point. Christianity is not an imagination. It's not an imagination. It's not a tale story. It is the life of God in a man. It's the life of God in a man. That's why Jesus said, he that will worship me in the spirit and in the truth. There must be a hunger in your heart. There must be a determination in your spirit. There must be a drive in your soul to serve God. You must make up your mind. You must determine. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6 verse 10. Brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle. Hey, that is why we said this week, any altar that have followed you from Africa to this place, that altar will never stand. Will never stand. Death must be cancelled. People are saying this year, in fact, January I just started, like so many deaths everywhere. Of course it is true. But for you, somebody say for me. For me. Oh, Bible says you are for sign and you are for wonders. I prophesy over your life. In the name of Jesus, 2020, we will increase, we will live, we will not die. Every counsel of the wicked against you, I raise them to thunder. I destroy that counsel. It has been disorganized. Every altar of wickedness against your life, it is broken by fire. I want to hear somebody shout aloud, amen. Against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against power, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against the spiritual wickedness in high. Stand on your feet. That devil is a liar. That enemy is a liar. That witchcraft spirit is a liar. If the Son of Man has set you free, you are free indeed. There is power in the blood of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. Touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. I don't care what the enemy has said about 2020. That I want to prophesy. You will deliver safely this year. I say you will deliver safely this year. Hey! Makarabashakara baba baba. Libra sakaya baba baba baba. Reke baba 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 baba. Libra baba baba. Seven wrestling. Oh, the fight is not against flesh and blood. It's not against your brother, your sister. It's not even against your uncle. It is against principality. It is against power. It is against wickedness in high places. Satanic convention. It is against powers of darkness. Oh, yeah. Somebody this year, we will rise the mountain top. We will be high on the mountain top. We will never be high and broad. Yes.
how we can know that causes are not just what we inherit, but also something we can cause by ourselves. And the Lord helps you today to pray about these causes, and God will deliver you, and God will set you free, and the Lord will make your life free as Jesus has said it in the name of Jesus. It is not enough that Christ has for you, it's also important that you accept that work, that finished work of Christ. As you accept it today, the Lord will set you free from every self-inflicted cause in the mighty name of Jesus. God bless you, God bless you, and God bless you. Shalom.